Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball, So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As you see, we have a full talk lineup. And not only do we have a full talk lineup of individuals, we also have a full talk lineup in terms of a show. But let me say, this is Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, from Inside the Lab with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. And I am here in Antarctic, Houston, where it is extremely cold. I know for other folks, they'll be like, don't get excited. It's even colder where we are. Well, we pray for you, but down this way, we're not used to it. So it's Antarctic cold for us. With that being said, let me get right to it. Welcome to episode 773 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU, the ask for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, Ralph Cooper, in a beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, I'd like to take a quick moment of privilege. I've lost a classmate, friend of mine, member of Epsilon Gamma Iota fraternity and sorority, member of Kappa Alpha Psi, George Key. He passed yesterday morning when his wife was found lifeless. So I certainly want to say condolences to his wife, his sister, Prairie View A&M University family, a lot of folks. He was an athlete at Prairie View A&M. Won a SWAC title during his time in terms of high jump, and was a blessing to be around. So he will be sorely and deeply missed. We also need to acknowledge Jackson State's family has lost the founder, if you would, of their podcast. Charles, would you want to say his name in terms of reference to him?
Sure. Corey Collins. Who was known on their podcast as The Corey C. But definitely want to send condolences to his family as well as the Jackson State family in regards to the work that Corey was able to do with regards to highlighting Jackson State athletics.
Yeah, certainly want to give a quick moment of pause. I wanted to get Charles to be able to say it so he could represent for Jackson State. But we all deeply miss these individuals, young individuals. When you think about it in so many ways, it's always taking you aback. Make sure that you appreciate life and you understand how frail it is, particularly what we've seen around this country at this time for whatever reason. So with that being said, let's take a quick moment of pause. With that being said, we move forward because oftentimes we would like to believe that's what these individuals want us to do, but it's certainly what we do on the show, which talk about HBCU sports. We will stretch that out a little bit in the second segment. But before we get to that, Charles, how are you doing today?
Doing well, a little bit fatigued, but called the Texas Southern basketball game today. Texas Southern huge over Alabama State today. That game was played at 1 o'clock. It was postponed from Monday, but Texas Southern and Alabama State, I think this is the Texas Southern that everybody was kind of looking looking towards here. Those guards, they started clicking.
Every time you want to put some dirt on them Tigers over there, third wall, as they like to say, they either like, hold up, bro, we got some claws, we got something to say. Man, a 30-piece?
30-piece, and it was impressive. I think over the last two halves now, I think Texas Southern shot 70% in the second half of the game against Alabama A&M, and they shot 50-something% in the second half today. But I mean, they led from wire to wire. I mean, they jumped out on them quick, and they didn't take their foot off the gas.
The other game was Prairie View and Alabama A&M, and Alabama A&M got the best of Prairie View. Heard some challenges going on down there that players are out 5, some players 8 players missing for Prairie View, and it certainly makes a difference. So we'll have to see what that means for Prairie View moving forward, but it's not looking good. With that being fine, Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I hope everybody else is doing well. I think the last time you talked to me, I barely had my voice, so I finally got my voice back. And in this frozen tundra, at least Houston version of ice cold, frigid, frozen tundra, I'm doing well, keep it warm, and I keep hearing from folks in the Midwest and the Northeast that it's 5 degrees. It's 5. I don't care. It's cold here in Houston, Texas. So please understand and deal with that. So other than that, I am doing fine. Happy to be back in the house amongst these two brothers here.
Mike just wanted a reason to have his hot toddy. Wilton Jackson, the second, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Doc. Glad to be here, man. A lot of things going on in the world. So like you said, kind of what you were mentioning, just being thankful for life, definitely for that. And a lot of games to talk about. Even some football news has kind of squeezed in through here. So got a lot to talk about, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I see you're right. You just trying to sneak that in. We'll see if we can get to that before the end of the show, but that was a nice plug, Wilton.
Dr. Cavil, if I may add, for George Keys also was a classmate of mine, fellow engineering. So if you don't mind, he was a classmate of mine. We sparred back and forth, at on basketball and a couple other things. Which screw strap was the best? His shimmy was much better than Wilton. I hadn't seen Wilton shimmy, so I don't know. His shimmy was much better than
He ain't been on the show 5 minutes. He already started.
The shade has been thrown, sir.
I tried to make sure. That wasn't my fault. Mike is right. I should have gave him the stage, but I knew he was going that direction.
I'm just saying, as a brother Cap by the side, if I asked him to show me a shimmy, he would show me a shimmy and be proud of it. Some folks. Some brothers, you ask them to show, and they get all alligator head, whatever. So anyway, I'm just gonna say, in all seriousness, we had a lot of things that we shared. Rest in peace, young brother, and life is too short. So please keep an eye on those that you are in and around. You never know what's going on in their lives. So rest in peace, brother Peace. So.
Well said, and I apologize not to allow you to say something because it certainly needed to be said. Charles, you see the difference between above ground and post after? You know that them folks just ain't right, man. That's I'm gonna leave it like that. Them folks ain't right.
And they different.
They different. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
We don't need all that. We
David,
don't need all that today.
Exactly. David, how you doing today so we can get out of this first segment?
All right, I'm doing awesome. I got about 18 inches and I got a bonus 3 last night, but overall I'm pretty good. I dug myself out yesterday. Didn't have to do too much this morning, so.
Yeah, oh man, he makes us all sound weak. He said a plus.
I got it.
Life in New England, guys.
I want to know how 3 inches is a bonus anywhere.
Bro. When you get 18, see, Mike, when you get 18 the night before,
that's crazy.
And then you get another, and it was a 3 that wasn't expected. It was like the unexpected 3.
That comment. Let's take a break. Come back on the other side. You're perfectly right. In so many days, this segment, that is all just crazy. We'll be right back after this first break.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Rap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Into these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
And what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. To right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
For over
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have Jason Breyo. Did I say that correctly, Jason?
Yes, sir, you did. Yes, sir.
All right, you got a little buzz on the internet, so keep working on it. And we have our expert to help us talk a little bit about lacrosse. That is Bryce Washington. Not you, Mike. Not you, Mike. We're talking about the other Mike. Washington, I should say. Bryce. As you're working on that, Jason, give you a chance to kind of follow with that. You might want to log out and log back in, and we'll get you in there. As we're waiting on Jason to come back in, Bryce, talk a little bit about lacrosse. What makes lacrosse a sport that you decided to play? Because as I saw you growing up, a lot of it was baseball, and then all of a sudden I see you with this stick, and I was like, okay. And not only did you start playing, you played actually pretty well, earned a scholarship, as we've had you on to talk a little bit about that. But we're talking about bringing in Jason, who's going to talk about 285 Atlanta, where they are bringing a lacrosse tournament to Atlanta on February 21st. But as we do that, Bryce, talk a little bit about just the sport of lacrosse so we can make this seamless.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you again for having me back on here. For those who don't know me, my name is Bryce Washington. My father's also here. He likes to be known as Big Mike. But yeah, so like you said, it was a pretty random sport for me to pick up. I was big on baseball, and then next thing you know, my dad gets a call from Germany saying I started playing lacrosse. So that was a very interesting time period in our lives. But big transition. But it's a pretty big sport. It's growing all the time. I mean, honestly, when I heard about this tournament, I thought it was like one of the biggest things ever. I mean, it's pretty huge to get not just like two, but you have 4 top 20 teams that are coming down from the north to play in the South, which it's not at the college level, at least. It's not a big sport in the South. I mean, you have more women's Division I teams than you do men's teams, but even then, this is still a pretty big event to happen. But yeah, I'm excited to be here talking more about this.
I heard Atlanta's significant market for lacrosse. Dallas, my understanding, and Texas is pretty big, and Houston is trying to pull it together. What are your thoughts in terms of Texas for lacrosse?
So Texas is hard. Growing up, it was pretty evident to see that a lot of the football coaches don't want their guys, doing that in the spring. They want them to stick to track, baseball, and a lot of these other like states, they're taking their kids that are playing football, they're letting them play lacrosse. And now you have this kind of unbalance. Whereas, you would have kids from Texas go to tournaments all the way in New York, and it's really hard for them to play against that sort of talent. Whereas Houston, most of these guys are also saying, which is a big thing, that's not really funded by the school. A lot of times you can go to a sport like football, they're going to give you the pad, they're going to give you the helmet, but lacrosse-wise, since it's not funded by UIL, then you have kids, they want to play it, they see it, and they're like, they got to buy the gloves, they got to buy all of your pads, elbows, and they're not being supplied anything. So it's really hard for Texas to kind of get into that without, that UIL support that all the other sports have. But it's still one of those things that's still growing. You have a lot of schools that are making it happen. There's actually guys in the pros that are from Texas. So it's on its way up.
Good stuff, Bryce. Did you keep your equipment? Because, your uncle over here wants to make sure in case Deuce decides to play as we bring Jason back into this conversation. Did you keep your equipment? Mike, did you keep the equipment? You go over here sometimes a little like to, get into it. Look,
Yeah.
Cheap, man, cheap. I don't know what other word.
Yeah, we kept the equipment. Deuce will have to grow a little bit, but we did keep the equipment. So, and Bryce is also coaching. Well, he's in grad school in Virginia Tech, but he's also coaching now. So, and he still has some equipment with him. So between he and Justin, I still have a fourth of my garage with all of that equipment in. I want to throw it away, but I said Deuce is coming. There might be a change coming. So you just never know.
You never know. You got a call while you were coming in Germany, so you just never know. Jason, welcome back to the show. Officially welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I apologize for the internet issues. I'm in a hotel room here, and I didn't, bounced off. So I'm out here doing
no
my
problem.
real job.
Trust me, we travel quite a bit, so we certainly understand it. No need. We appreciate you jumping back in here, but we have you on to talk a little bit about 285 Atlanta lacrosse. Talk a little bit about the tournament. Let's jump right into it. What makes this tournament special?
Well, before we get started, I'm sure you can see me here and notice that I don't have a shimmy. So, I just want to get that out. I could try, but it really it's just not going to work.
But if you had one and I asked for it, you would do a shimmy. I mean, right?
Of course. If I had a shimmy, I would do it all day. I would do it all day.
You. I'm looking at Wilton as I say that. So
you ain't winning this one, Wilton, my man. Sit this one out.
I know. I can't even say that.
That's funny. Well, guys, thanks for having me. Our event this year, we're so excited about to partner with Morehouse. So just a real quick about who we are as an organization. Obviously, I'm a lacrosse guy. I'm 55 years old. I grew up in Western New York. So yes, I'm a Yankee. But, I've lived in Georgia for about 34 years, married a Southern girl who refused to let me move her back up north. And, I played lacrosse in college and at the University of Delaware. And, I still play in old man tournaments and stuff. And the sport's given me a tremendous amount of just amazing benefits and friends. And, when I grew up, it was just a really big part of where the town I grew up in is a really big part of what we did. I grew up in a small town. You played every sport, right? Football, basketball, and lacrosse were the 3 big sports. I played all of them, right? And lacrosse just happened to get me to college. I was a what I thought at the time was a very good high school basketball player, and I had visions of playing with Derek Coleman at Syracuse. But as a 6'4" post player, that didn't quite materialize, you know? So lacrosse gave me a tremendous opportunity to be in college. And what we are as an organization, 285 lacrosse obviously stands, 285 is the interstate around Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So our little tagline is lacrosse around Atlanta. We're a 501c3 organization. All we do is try to grow the game of lacrosse and to, create opportunities for kids. And we have 3 partner charities that we donate our funds to. No one makes $1 off of this, right? We all donate our funds back. And this is our 3rd year of doing it. 2 years ago, we had a great game. Last year, we had a great game at Georgia Tech with Maryland and Notre Dame. But this opportunity to go to Morehouse for year 3 is incredible because our mission is to grow the game of lacrosse. It's such a great sport. And, what better way to do that than to go to such an esteemed institution like Morehouse, right? We're trying to grow the game in Atlanta, but you can't tell the history of Atlanta without Morehouse. It's just not there, right? So we're, when I first reached out to Mr. Ellis and Mr. Drew about 4 or 5 months ago, because we wanted to play here and stuff, and I honestly thought they'd think I was nuts. But AD Drew asked me, he said, "Why do you want to come down here?" And I said, "Well, we want to grow the game of lacrosse, and being honest, we want to bridge, the 2 sides of Atlanta. Lacrosse does have a reputation of being, a fairly, affluent sport, and it tends to be in the suburbs and stuff like that. And that is true. That's not my experience with lacrosse, though. I grew up in a real blue collar town without a lot of money, and that's in New York where I grew up. Everybody plays it. It's just what everybody does. Every school has it, right? And we're trying to create that environment in Atlanta, and we're hoping that with our, we put on big time, try to put on the biggest event we can. We try to find great venues and have great teams play to promote the game, so young kids want to come play, right? And get an opportunity in college. And also, Morehouse is going to be starting a program, by the way. So Morehouse is going to be I think the 4th HBCU to have varsity lacrosse, and we're going to have a role in that. We're real excited about that. So it's going to be a great day.
Big deal. Big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, big deal. As you talked about your partners, Shootout for Soldiers Foundation, Lacrosse Out Cancer, and Save a Warrior. Collaborations aim to raise funds for veterans, the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation, PCRF, and veteran suicide prevention through exciting collegiate matchups. Wonderful causes, so I wanted to make sure we put that out. And just wanted to say, it's not you, Jason, in terms of your wife not allowing you to go back up. It's just cold. It's a weather.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. She just had to get that clear the night before we got married that she wasn't going anywhere. She had to check that box.
She said it early. Hey, let's clear this up. Let me get the expert in here, Bryce, that you may have heard that played the game, actually coaching now, to follow up with the first question.
Awesome. Hey, Bryce.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. All right, so just like real quick, I was just kind of curious. So what kind of turnout are you looking for with this event? Not even just with like the Black community, with it being at Morehouse, but just the community in general, with these being such big teams that are playing this game.
So we're anticipating about 8,000 to 9,000 attendees, right? And we're bringing a lot of new eyes to Morehouse, which I really think is going to be great, right? And it's obviously weather dependent, because in Atlanta on February 21st, people in New York think they're coming to Miami. They're not. It's, it can be 70 and sunny, or it could be 22 and raining sideways. So, I've been praying 3-4 times a day for the 70-degree version. But, we're looking at about 8,000 to 9,000 attendees. Now, we have 3 games. We have 3 Division I games all day, right? First of all, we have Army West Point versus University of Michigan. Army's currently ranked 14th preseason and Michigan's 20th. That's going to be a big matchup. Army is a massive draw, right? So we got all sorts of cool stuff. We're going to have a flyover and a parachute jump, if I can get the paperwork signed, to do that. And then we're going to have 2 women's games. Oh, I have another great announcement too. We're going to have 2 women's games, Boston College versus Michigan, which is a top 5 matchup, and then Florida State versus Army in the 3rd game. You know, so it's almost going to be like two events. We're going to have a men's event and a women's event, right? But yeah, so we're real excited about it. But we're anticipating probably 8,000 to 9,000 people. We have we're gonna have youth clinics with USA Lacrosse in the morning. We're trying to work the details out on that. We got a girls' high school game in the morning. You know, we have a little youth tournament. We're playing off site a little bit. So we try to create a little festival. We just want we want young kids to come and say, you know, I can do this too. Because a lot of, you know, kids in the South, you know, aren't really raised to go up north and play lacrosse or even to play lacrosse, right? And a lot of folks. So we want to change that, you know. So we're trying to work with a lot of folks in Atlanta and just create as many opportunities as possible. And by getting a large crowd there, I think we can do that. We've proven it so far in the previous two games, and we also have really good coverage. And USA Lacrosse, which is the governing body of the sport, is so excited about this. They're bringing about 10 people down to be there and to be at the event and to put on some concurrent events as well. So we're excited.
Let me let the other expert tease him because I hear Mike in here. He's the one that tells us all about lacrosse as if he knows the game now. So go ahead, Mike.
So Jason, thank you. Also as a former member of the military services Army, I also applaud your purposes as well. One of the things you touched on goes about my question, and you know, getting Bryce and my younger kid Justin recruited or just getting them exposure in Texas was a challenge.
Yep.
Getting kids in the South who may see this for the first time and may be interested and may be great athletes is a real challenge. Can you talk a little bit more on how you will reach out to kids, particularly in the South, Atlanta, Texas, or whatever, who may be interested, may be great athletes, but have, you know, opened more of that exposure to them outside of this event? Is it tying with organizations or what? Because we spent years trying to go from Texas to, and Kenyatta will tell you, from Texas to New York, Texas to Colorado. That's a lot of money. So how can you get that exposure down to kids in the South?
Well, that's an excellent question, and you're right on all the points. It is a lot of money, and it is a barrier of entry to the sport. One of the biggest barrier of entries to the sport is actually the cost of the equipment. So my favorite thing to do is simply find young kids that are interested in and simply give them sticks, right? Put a stick in their hand so they can just start to throw the ball around and get an interest in it. The other thing that we want to do, obviously, Atlanta is you'd be surprised, like Atlanta in the past 20 years, like 20 years ago, no one played lacrosse. Now it's the 5th largest lacrosse market in the country, right? There's probably 15 to 20,000 estimate of youth players in Atlanta, right? So, but how do we do that? We need to open up, more cost-effective youth leagues and have clinics. And, you know, right now, we need to do a better job at this as an organization, but we're trying to reach out in the city of Atlanta and do a lot more youth clinics, you know, partner with USA Lacrosse and just get interested. And then we have ways we're going to provide equipment for kids too. But the first thing is just make a kid want to play. Like, you know, how many guys have actually seen a lacrosse game?
Not in person, but I've watched them.
Okay.
I live in the Northeast.
So you get to put a helmet on, very small shoulder pads that don't do anything, elbow pads that barely cover anything, some gloves that occasionally help. And you get to run up and down the field and smack a stick at somebody and occasionally put a shoulder into them. And it's really fast and it's fun. Now, I haven't met a boy who didn't want to do that. Right. And
Bryce just smiling.
Yeah, it's awesome, you know. So now in the old days, admittedly, it was a lot more physical than it is now. But you know, like everything with football and everything else, they've changed. I'm from the day. I'm sure some of you guys are as old as I am. No one cared when I got a concussion as a kid.
Oh, it still gets physical. I go to my son's games. It still gets physical. So.
Yeah, we had our fair share of penalties.
That's great. So it's a lot of fun, and you know, we just want kids to see it. That's the first start, get the excitement. But we're gonna follow up with clinics as much as we can. And you know, one thing I really want to do is help a lot of schools. One of the problems with lacrosse programs here is access to good coaches, right? Yeah. Especially in the South, because you know most of the coaches in the South are transplants like me, but there's only so many to go around, right? So that's the biggest barrier to a school high school and middle school programs of, being able to do that, right? And then obviously you mentioned having to go, if you really want to be good, you do have to go up north. If you want to get recruited at a high level, you have to go up for summer tournaments. And I think the whole, just like AAU basketball or anything else, I think that whole situation's out of control, and we have to find more cost-effective ways to do that. I think that with the more kids that are from Atlanta that play, the more attention we get. So in our 3 games, there on 5 of the 6 teams, there are 13 players from Atlanta that are playing in this event.
Yeah.
Good market.
So,
it's good market.
Yep. So the more kids in Atlanta, there's a lot of kids in Atlanta, especially on the girls' side too, because there's really good girls lacrosse in Atlanta too. So, I know it might sound a little simplistic, but I think just putting a little hope in the kids' eyes that they see something they want to do, it'll be a really, really positively received.
Yeah.
We're up against it, Jason. Great conversation, but we want to see if we can get you back on, because I know these other gentlemen, they're already frowning up because I'm not giving them a chance to answer some questions. So if we can find a time
I would love to
back on and talk about it, because I really want to ask you, because I did hear part of the interview, and I know you're seeking to get that meeting with Morehouse president. I want to hear a little bit about what's that like in terms of explaining how you can provide opportunities for college in general to introduce the sports, but specifically for us, as you are referencing about HBCUs introducing the sport. I am familiar that there are quite a few club teams. So we're one step away from having a couple of institutions, and really we need 6, obviously, to form a conference at least, where you can get a little bit of that momentum, some rivalry going, and things that make it stick with some more fans. So I'd love to hear that conversation. But
we'd love to get it going.
Give you a chance to kind of close and give your last pitch in terms of any information folks need to know about getting to the tournament.
Well, I know we're up against it. There's one cool thing I do want to tell you, though. We finalized this morning. We're going to have a Friday night game. Okay.
Congratulations.
This Friday night game is going to be really instrumental, because it's going to be the first lacrosse game ever played by the Spelman College club team.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So Friday night at 7. We just finalized this today. There's a couple girls from Maryland who started their club team a couple years ago.
Thank you. Breaking news.
And they're going to play Emory Friday night at 7, and we're going to make it the best experience for those girls possible, because they had a couple girls from Maryland who were at Spelman. They started a club team a couple of years ago, but they've never played a game. So we're going to make that happen.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. And to have a small role in that, and Morehouse is going to have a small role in helping Morehouse as well would be great, because I love the place and the people are great. But it's just going to be a fun day for people. Come check out something different, to see a great sport. It's fast, it's fun, it's a little physical, borderline violent. It's just a lot of fun to see. And then the parallels to other sports are amazing. I mean, the offense and defense on lacrosse is all basketball.
Like
it's the same thing.
It's like chest on the run.
Yep, exactly. So just 285lacrosse.com is where we sell our tickets, and we're going to donate some money back to Morehouse as well as our charities. So we're just trying to grow the game, and hopefully we can do this next year at Morehouse as well. So thank you very much for having me.
No, it's all our pleasure. Great information, and we look forward to contacting, get you back on as we get a little closer to the event and get some more information and take a deeper dive. We'll see if we can bring back the expert Bryce Washington to continue to have really good conversation. And in that one, I promise to get these other gentlemen on the mic to ask some questions. With that,
wonderful.
Dave, let's take our next break. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab, where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2026? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 30th to February 1st, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's get into this mid-major division women's basketball poll ranking. Bryce, we're gonna let you come in here and give us some updates. Playing at the Division II level, you know what it looks like at that level as well. So this is for the women for HBCU basketball. So we want to get some of your thoughts and everybody's thoughts on this week's top 5 rankings. So we'll pull them up so you'll be able to see everything as we get in here. Nobody dropped out of this week, gentlemen, but we do have 5 on the outside receiving votes. And let's start with that. That's Paul Quinn, the Lady Tigers, 12-4, 7-1. We have the Wiley Lady Wildcats sit at 10-4. Lane Lady Dragons are in the mix at 12-4. Arkansas Baptist Lady Buffaloes outside of any conference, really playing as an independent, even though they have a conference game there. They're in the mix as well. And finally, closing out those that are receiving votes of Virginia State, the Lady Trojans. And they do have a lacrosse team they brought in, talking about Division II level, to kind of mix that back in. But the men's team are in the mix, 13-4. They are 6-2 in conference, as you see. But let's get into the top 5 and see who's really getting down right now. Out of the SIAC, we have Edward Waters, the Lady Tigers, sit at 14-4, 12-3, 42 points. They previously ranked 4. They had a loss, but they dropped down. And meaning number 4, Fayetteville State Lady Broncos, that were sitting at 5 and moved up a spot, 13-2 this week, 7-1, 41 points, getting it done. Bringing us to number 3, Miles Lady Golden Bears continue to do their thing and show off as they are 17-3, 15-2. That's 55 points and ranked in the 3 spot. Bringing us to number 2, Langston out of Oklahoma. The Lady Lions are really playing some good basketball. They only have 2 losses on the season, gentlemen. He said it's 17-2, 11-2, 3 first place votes at 63 points. They remain in the 2 spot because there is this red hot team called the Lady Rams of Winston-Salem State, 16-1. David, be nice, 16-1. 7-0.
Oh, you wait.
Place votes, 5 points. Remain at the first place. I'm going to go with you first, David.
They absolutely deserve to be number 1. I'm not mad at this top 5 as a whole. I will say this, that one loss they have is to my Aggies, which is, I just had to put that out there. But shout out to them. They've been playing it extraordinarily well.
With that being said, let me go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the poll is right this week. I mean, I think one of the impressive things about Winston-Salem State, taking a look at their last win over Claflin, I don't think anybody scored in double digits in that game for Winston-Salem State. So that tells you how well they play defense. I think they're number 2 in the conference in defense, but just a tremendous basketball team. Won 16 out of 17 games, and that's pretty good. And it makes me kind of look back at this poll now. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Edward Waters sits at the top over there in the SIAC. That's going to be kind of interesting whenever they get an opportunity to see Miles again. That'll be a fun fight.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Wilton, you're always on the Division II and making sure you got it in. What are your thoughts in terms of the top 5 this week? Kind of mixed it up last week. Did we do any better this week?
Yeah, no, like this poll is good. I echo what everybody else has said. I will say this to Charles' point though, that next matchup, whenever Waters does get a chance to play Miles again, I think that's going to be a good matchup. That Fayetteville State team, obviously, still a very, very, very dangerous team. We know what Miles has done in the SIAC. When I just look at this top 5, I think it's pretty much fine. I'm good with that.
You know, everybody said Winston need to check out with some of the matchups this week. And they rolled and kept rolling right through it. With that being said, Mike, where are you with the Division II and NIA programs for the mid-major poll in week number 4?
You know what? I just came back. I don't want to throw salt on your little poll or whatever. It looks good. I'm gonna just go fall in line like a good soldier. But I will say, and Langston, they may be good, but Miles is outscoring everybody else. They're scoring 76 points a game. Langston is in first place in their division, but they are not tops in their division. They are Mid-America Christian, Science and Arts, Wayland Baptist. These schools are outscoring Langston offensively. They're winning. So I have to say that with a big question mark. I always put statistics into it. So if you look at all of these teams, Miles, Winston-Salem, Mr. Gaither. Yes, your team is number 1. Well, okay, we're in the matrix, red, green, wet pill, green pill, whatever. You take the red pill this week, your team is in first place. But I don't know about that Langston ahead of Miles deal. It'll work out itself because I'd like to see Miles play a team like Edward Waters or something like that. But when I look at offensive and I look at who Langston played versus who Miles has played, yes, I have to think. And Winston-Salem has really calmed the shores. They were playing schools that were stronger in probably basketball and lacrosse, and they moved into it, and they've got a heck of a winning streak. So there's nothing I can say about Winston-Salem. Mr. Gaither. Mr. Gaither. Okay.
Right. I know you had to put up with this for 20 plus years. I had to do with it 35 plus years. I don't know how either one of us make it happen. But Bryce,
you got me beat on that.
Bryce, what are your thoughts on the top 5?
You know, I actually had the opportunity to see Winston-Salem State play back when I was at Barton Division II. You know, they've always been pretty solid, in my opinion. I've been looking at their schedule. I mean, honestly, I have no problem with the top 5 at all. I'm completely honest.
Thank you, Bryce. You'll be welcome back to the show anytime.
Thank you very much.
David, let's keep running and not take a break. Let's go ahead and get into the major division. And let's just run it through the major division and see what everybody thinks on the major division. With nobody dropping out this week, we do have a shuffle similar to what we had in the mid-major. We hadn't had that happen in a long time. But in terms of those teams in the mix, we'll look at it and let's talk about it. Should be Howard Bison, Florida A&M Rattlers, Alabama State, Texas Southern Tigers, and Grambling State Tigers. Howard sits at 5-1, FAMU at 4-3. Alabama State also at 4-3, Texas Southern at 4-4, and Grambling State Tigers at 3-3. They have a couple of games that were not played because of the ice in terms of Grambling. So this was off a little bit, but let's get into the top 5, which happens to be Norfolk State. The Spartans is also sit at 5-1 in terms of the conference race, 47 points. Number 4, looks like they've got a little thing going in because once they start rolling, boy, they pound folks. They do lose. It happens on the other side. With that being said, Alcorn State Braves, after that tough loss to Alabama A&M, boy, they're rolling. They are now at 6-1, 59 points. They do move up a spot this week in week number 4. Next is number 3. We told you about the Alabama A&M Bulldogs that beat up on the Braves. They're rolling also after they kind of started off slow, but they're at 6-1 now. Came to Texas and got it done. They are sitting at 6-1. One first place vote, 62 points, sitting in the 3 spot. At number 2, still in the SWAC, Southern Jaguars, 6-1. Still trying to figure out how that one loss happened, but other than that, they have been rolling. One first place vote, 74 points, sitting at number 2. Maryland Eastern Shore, we couldn't really get to see what they were able to do this weekend as the ice storms messed that up. They sit at 4-0, the only undefeated major division women's basketball program in conference play out there. 6 first place votes, 78 points to sit at first. Bryce, I'm going to start with you in terms of the major division. Let me know your thoughts on the top 5.
You see, I actually like this. I honestly thought I was kind of expecting Southern to be just a little bit higher, but I'm actually very curious to see what happens in these next couple games, if I'm completely honest. But the rest of the schedule, rest of the rankings, I love them.
Good stuff, Bryce. I told you. See, you're the good side. Mike, watch you mess it up.
No, I agree with number 1 and 2. Maryland Eastern Shore, I mean, both men and women. Did you ever get the feeling that they woke up in the year 2025 and said, you know what, we can play basketball in Maryland Eastern Shore, both the men's and women's. You know what, let's just go play basketball. And both men's and women. Seriously. Maryland Eastern Shore, if there's any team that's been more oppressive, it's been Maryland Eastern Shore. You look at not only how they're winning, you look at the fact that they're winning, you look at how they're winning. They're winning on defense. They're winning on 3-point percentage shooting. They're winning on, they've won some close games, a la Norfolk State, a la, Morgan State, and they've had some where they put teams away. So they've won in a couple of different ways. So for me, in this poll right now, I have no issue. Watch out for Alcorn coming up, but other than that, I have no issues with this poll.
Good job, Mike. Fine. Wilton, what's your thoughts?
So before I get into it, I got to correct Mike because he likes to correct everybody on everything else about Albany State. It's Alcorn, not Alcorn. Had to point that out there real quick for you, just to make sure you knew. But here's
got him.
Here's my thought.
Got him.
Number 1, Maryland Eastern Shore, they've been pretty much dominant all season. And to be honest, the way that they've gotten their wins, to Mike's point, they've won in a bunch of different ways, but definitely for sure being able to rebound and shoot threes. And those early wins that they got against like top tier MEAC opponents, the interesting thing about that is they're going to have to see some of them again in the month of February. So they got a big game against Delaware State coming up in a couple of days. But then right after that, they get back into that second round of the gauntlet that they faced starting MEAC play. When you talk about Southern, that loss against FAMU, I think it was just more so of FAMU figuring some things out, and I think it's going to be a FAMU team that's going to be in the mix. But I also think that this is still the team to beat when you start talking about SWAC women's basketball teams. Carlos Funches, he's going to have his young ladies ready to play. Alabama A&M, for all of us, I'm sure we were nervous a little bit when they took that loss to Mississippi Valley, but since then they have dominated and have looked really, really strong. Kayla Charles is looking outstanding. And then as far as like Norfolk State, this is a team that has taken some losses. I know they're with a first-year coach, but I definitely expect them to still remain in the mix. Again, we've pretty much essentially made it through this first month of January, but that telltale sign of like what happens in February going into like the conference tournaments, you really want to make sure you're in rhythm at that time.
Mm-hmm. True, very true. Charles, what about yourself? Where are you on the top 5 major division?
Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to the SWAC teams right now, and I'll start with Maryland Eastern Shore, what they've done thus far. I echo what Wilton was saying with regards to what they're doing. It's going to be interesting to see what comes around when they go back through that gauntlet again with the MEAC teams. But take a look at at 2, 3, and 4. When you take a look at Alcorn, Alabama A&M, and Southern, they're all in the top 3 in defense of the SWAC. Very impressive. So that really jumps out for me. What's even more impressive, I think, with Alcorn is that they're missing a major cog that was on their team last year. For them to be right back in the mix, that says a lot about what Nick Kilbert is doing down there at Alcorn. That's going to become a team for me to watch, especially in this as we get towards February going into March. And what can you say about Alabama A&M? We kind of expected them to be here. Got an opportunity to watch them up close this past weekend against Texas Southern. A little bit of gamesmanship there at the end, dueling timeouts and whatnot with a former player from Texas Southern that's at Alabama A&M now. So that was kind of interesting to watch. So we'll see if Texas Southern has any payback for Alabama A&M when they make the trip to Huntsville.
Well, I like that. Good stuff. Dave, closes out. What are your thoughts on the top 5? Major division, week 4.
We have to find a way to get Howard in this 5. Their only loss was against a close one against Maryland Eastern Shore. They got a big game going up against Norfolk, so it might figure itself out.
I think it's a great point. Who you drop out?
I'll drop out Norfolk. I would drop out Norfolk. Yeah, I would drop out Norfolk because I believe that Howard, when you take, I understand it's close because, like I said, Maryland Eastern Shore is their only loss. But when you take it to who they beat in the out of conference play, I have to put them in the 5.
Yeah. I can dig that. Makes sense.
Outside of that, I'm fine with everything else. Maryland Eastern Shore, like I've always had a theory about Maryland Eastern Shore and Coppin. Because they don't have football, they're supposed to be good in basketball. Like I should see this more often. They can move their resources to just that main sport. They should be good in men's and women's basketball. So I'm happy to see Maryland Eastern Shore doing their thing on both sides of the spectrum.
Aren't they getting ready to play? It'll take care of itself.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Good points. Way to put that out. Let's take our next break quickly. Come back on the other side, and then we'll do our close of the show. Great job, gentlemen. Good information. All right. Brothers are sharp.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU stories with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Let me give you the matchups, but then I have a question around the squares, I guess that we would call it. But let me give you these matchups, Thursday and Saturday this week. Grambling at Alcorn, FAMU at Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman at Alabama A&M, Southern at Jackson, a rivalry game on Saturday. But we have some travel partner rivalries on Saturday. We have Southern at Alcorn State, Bethune-Cookman at Alabama State, FAMU at Alabama A&M, Arkansas Pine Bluff at Valley, and then Grambling State at Jackson State. So that's interesting in terms of what's taking place this week. And you have the rivalry game, Prairie View at Texas Southern at Prairie View, I should say, excuse me, in terms of that matchup. But I wanted to ask you a little bit. Dr. Mickey Allen is making his rounds. 3 of the SWAC programs bringing back some old rivalry matchups, and even got one out of the MEAC. I think a lot of people going to be happy in those parts. Is he giving any clue indication in terms of what's going on OVC? Is he just joining and grabbing the bag? Anyway, we had an announcement with 2-year agreement with FAMU. This follows an announcement about getting an old rivalry, Morgan State, back on the ledger out of the MEAC, obviously, 2-year deal. And then before that, last week or so ago, we talked about the rivalry with Jackson State and Tennessee State being revived. This is on the heel of what came out last year and started this year with the 4-year series with Alabama A&M and Tennessee State. So anybody have thoughts on this last one or just in general about what Tennessee State is able to get done?
Tennessee State is doing what they should have always been doing, and that's scheduling HBCUs in their out-of-conference schedule.
I want to know,
like when they added A&T last year, when they added Alabama A&M last year, like it's a no-brainer. Like I don't know why they haven't done
their alumni is happy. I know that for sure.
Yeah, I know. Like, see, and it's weird, right? Because it's the classic.
Maybe they'll show up to games more.
But they might make an appearance now. They might show up at Nissan Stadium now. We'll see.
I think the interesting thing is they have had some HBCUs on there, but what even makes this more exciting for folks is some old rivalries renewed. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, people have been asking this for a couple of years. What finally tipped the bell for folks to listen? Did it take that long to make this happen? Did it take money? Did it take resources? But people, we've known that this needed to happen. And for this,
really good question. I might have to call up Dr. Mickey Allen. What
this to be old rivalries, not just scheduling the HB, but old rivalries that people wanted, have been screaming for. What tipped the bell for somebody to finally start listening?
I think you don't need to call Mickey Allen. I think you need to call Dwayne Tucker.
Yeah,
that's who you need to call.
So the president made the call and said this needs.
I just think
that's
that
like
point,
though.
I'm just saying like this.
Alabama A&M, what he saw with A&T, he probably was like, "Hey, this is a good thing. I need more."
You had other commissioners from other conferences showing up to the game. Like I'm just saying.
Yeah, I like seeing people in the stands. That probably helps. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I like attendance.
These slugs by everybody.
I like attendance.
Sorry, Brandon. We'll talk about it tomorrow, Brandon. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was echoing what Charles said. I like attendance. That's probably. I just want to know what tipped the bell. What finally was the straw? People, we talking about it like we knew this needed to happen, but what really drove it? What was the decision driver? That's what I want to know.
I think it's good points. Another part that's really nice about this, going to be fascinating. Fans got to make it work. Is the fact that this is not just classic games. Mm-hmm. This is home and home.
Yeah.
And you see a lot more ADs falling in love with providing matchups at home for the fan base. And those, for me, that have been loyal about buying those season tickets. And we got everybody on here that buys season tickets. And Big Mike with the big money, he actually buys a suite. I get to join him in the suite. I appreciate you, Mike. Good job. With that, the last one I want to ask you, but as we close up and we're right on it, is this question. Who's going to be the first HBCU that has a deal in terms of a patch on the jersey? Which I'm going to give everybody a chance to say their leading candidate of which HBCU AD is going to be the first one to be able to get that done as a jersey patch, because everybody knows now it's out there in regards to the council approving. And we'll probably have a deeper dive on this Thursday for those that can get back in here. But let's go around. We'll start with you, Charles. First HBCU that's going to be able to get a jersey patch.
I think Ashley Robinson is pretty aggressive. I think Wilson, what do you think? He might have made a call down to Canton or something? Or?
He might already knew about it before it even got put out there. So he just been plotting to say,
he knows it.
Let's go and move some numbers around, put some stuff together. We can make this a done deal before season start, whatever. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't been thinking about this process exactly like that.
Yeah,
Mike,
patch ought to be out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through, and the most progressive team I would have to say that little team in Jackson. I think I would have to say if it's anybody, Jackson State. I'm looking at their AD, but I'm also looking at their organization who was supported. But yes, I would say Jackson State as well.
Bryce, you got any coins you want to put on there with HBCU? Gonna be able to get it done, AD.
You know, I can't say this is
value of an HBCU that you can put it that way as well.
yeah. You know, I have my hopes. That would be my parents' alma mater, PV. You know, that's what I can say right now.
I like it. Let's go with it. David, where are you going with it?
Without naming my own alma mater, I'm going to say Howard.
Ah,
I'm going to say Howard.
Maybe
I see the Jordan deal. I've seen what they've done.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Howard.
Yeah, I like that call. Well, gentlemen, like I said, we'll take a deeper dive and really talk about what that looks like on Thursday. But I want to say thank you to all of you all. Great show. A lot of good information as you always do. Thanks to the lab listeners. And thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. I want to say a special thanks to the president of Tennessee State University getting it done, along with Dr. Mickey Allen. I know y'all want to go straight to the president, but that's cold. Giving love to the AD, boy, I tell you. That's my boy, Dr. Mickey Allen, even though he called. Never mind, I won't say that. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we look forward to Thursday as we discuss the latest news in the lab and hopefully a little warmer weather, maybe. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. I know we're not up there with David Rose with +3, whatever that is. But we just want a +30 or something down there. 60, 70, 80 degree weather. We'll take it all. Dr. Kenyatta Cavil.
The golf course.
KNYATTACAVIL. Let Charles live. Let him get back on the golf course. Bryce, a special thank you for you coming in and showing your expertise. You did really well, much better than Big Mike, if you would. So rest of my whatever you need is on me. The next time we're together, we'll get it done. Maybe we'll send something up that way for you. Continue the great work. Proud of you on the serious side. Keep getting it done. Inside the HBC, oh yeah, for sure. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Force.
Mike.
Lecture.
Wilton, Bryce, and David.
Dismissed.
Y'all a little off with that, man. Y'all gotta.
Here you go.
Y'all gotta